Pioneers are explorers. Pioneers are innovators. Pioneers are leaders. We are Marietta College. We are pioneers. Find out how you can become a PIO at www.marietta.edu.
An update on East Palestine's train derailment.
And Marietta College's President Rude's retirement announcement.
We'll have these stories and more. News Center 15 starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Wednesday's edition of News Center 15. I'm Declan Garrett.
And I'm Hunter Withrow.
Topping on news this afternoon. We commence with an update out of East Palestine, Ohio. A recent trail derailment has prompted the EPA to take charge of the environmental cleanup. Norfolk Southern, responsible for the Fright disaster, must identify and clean up contaminated soil and water resources. They are also liable for EPA work costs, additional cleaning services to residents and businesses, and any reimbursements to the agency. The incident has caused concern amongst residents who reported symptoms that may be related to the chemicals from the derailment. Thousands of fish have perished as a result of the incident, underlining its severe impact. The water supply is said to be safe. However, multiple environmental scientists are urging for further testing to ensure safety, particularly for private wells. The community remains anxious about adverse health effects caused by the toxic materials released in the derailment. Our hearts are with the people of East Palestine as crews are working diligently to respond to the Fright disaster. Some media outlets are criticized for underreporting this incident, but we don't do that here at WCMO. If and when we receive more news on this, we will be sure to keep you updated.
More colleges across the U.S. are struggling as top-tier universities experience an application boom, citing falling enrollment and inflation. Multiple colleges are set to close this year. In the last decade, college closures have quadrupled compared to the previous decade, hitting smaller institutions particularly hard. Meanwhile, prestigious colleges and universities, including many in the Ivy League, have experienced a record-breaking increase in applications since the 2019-2020 school year. College is becoming a path only for those with means to pay for it, as tuition costs continue to rise, with the wealth of zip codes producing the majority of applicants. Hafez Lakhani, founder and president of Lakhani Coaching, predicts more college closures in the future.
Hey, I wonder what the weather looks like today.
Here to provide a first look at our current conditions is Landon Santini.
Well, thank you, Hunter. I think it's safe to say that today is so far the absolute warmest day of the year 2023. Right now it feels like about 66 degrees outside with an expected high of 72 and mostly sunny conditions, putting it very mildly. As a result, we have a very low UV index of 0 and an even lower pollen count of 0 as well. Fair air quality of 24. The winds will be running around the southwest at about 8 miles per hour. The humidity is the highest it's been all year, much like the temperature, set 70%. Although remember, it's still only February and we've got several months to go before summer, so that record of hottest day of the year could be broken anytime soon. So enjoy the warmth that today brings for as long as you can. You could maybe get away with going outside without a jacket for a little while. Although as we get closer and closer to the weekend, those temperatures will start climbing back down to the colder temperatures again. We'll talk a bit more in detail about that when I return later on in the program for the 5-day forecast. But until then, back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Landon. Marietta's College President, Dr. William Rude, will retire from his position effective on or before June 30th, 2023, as he transitions to the next phase of his life. Root expressed his love for the institution and the Pioneer family, which he has dedicated himself to for the past 7 years. The Board of Trustees appreciated his steady leadership and commitment to improving and updating classrooms, facilities, and services, which have led to a better overall experience for everyone on campus. The board also appreciated Root's direction during the strategic planning process, which has provided the college with a clear path forward to a promising future. During his tenure, the endowment reached an all-time high of $104.5 million. 10-year highs were achieved for Marietta Fund dollars, and the college improved its December graduation and overall brand. The board is prepared to conduct a nationwide search for the next president of Marietta College and will identify an interim president. Meanwhile, in a message to the Pioneer family, Root expressed his profound love for the college and stated that it is time for him and his wife to transition to that next phase of their lives.
A Michigan woman experienced both the best and worst of times when she discovered nearly $15,000 in a Ziploc bag. Diane Gordon, aged 65, had been walking 2.7 miles to work after her car broke down and she could not afford to repair or replace it. On January 21st, while on her way home from work, Gordon spotted a bag of money at a gas station. She immediately contacted the police and returned the money to the newly wedded couple who had lost it earlier that day. Gordon declined a reward, but a police officer's wife created a GoFundMe page to help her buy a new car. The page has raised over $82,000 from people around the world. Gordon was able to purchase a new car, a green Jeep Compass, and use the remaining money for insurance and extended warranty and home repairs.
Coming up, officials have to clear to shoot dozens of wild cattle.
Stay with us.
Hey, this is Kevin Love from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, many of us feel anxious. Mindfulness can help you ease those feelings. My nonprofit is partnering with Headspace to offer free content to help you stress less. Head to kevinlovefund.org/headspace.
Here's to the straggly ones, the first ones. Hey, I look good with this ones. The black, brown, red, and gray ones. The itchy ones. The ones grown by Dad. The ones grown for Dad. The I nearly didn't do it this year ones, and the absolutely filthy ones. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Learn more at Movember.com.
A Central Florida television journalist and a little girl were fatally shot Wednesday afternoon near the scene of a fatal shooting from earlier in the day, authorities said. Orange County Sheriff John Mina said during a news conference that they've detained Keith Melvin Moses, 19, who they believe is responsible for both shootings in the Orlando area neighborhood. Besides the Spectrum News 13 journalist and the 9-year-old girl, a TV crew member and the girl's mother were wounded during the second shooting. They were in critical condition at a local hospital.
Donald Trump on Wednesday criticized the federal response to the toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, as a betrayal during a visit to the village where residents and local leaders are increasingly frustrated more than 2 weeks after the disaster. The former president, who is mounting a third bid for the White House, wore his trademark red Make America Great Again cap as he said the community needs answers and results, no excuses. Trump appeared with U.S. Senator J.D. Vance, a Republican from Ohio, Mayor Trent Conway, and state and local leaders, and traveled via motorcade, giving the visit the look of an official presidential visit.
And a U.S. district judge on Wednesday cleared the way for federal officials to move ahead with plans to take the air and shoot dozens of wild cattle in a rugged area of southwestern New Mexico. Ranchers had sought a delay, arguing that the potential mass slaughter of as many as 150 unauthorized cows on public land was a violation of federal regulations and amounted to animal cruelty. After listening to arguments that stretched throughout the day, Judge James Browning denied the request, saying the ranchers failed to make their case. He also said the U.S. Forest Service is charged with managing the wilderness for the benefit of the public, and the operation would further that aim.
Disgraced South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh has taken the stand in his own defense as a double murder trial. Murdaugh is charged with fatally shooting his wife and son, who were killed near kennels on their property on June 7, 2021. Murdaugh faces 30 years to life in prison if convicted. The 54-year-old testimony Thursday could be a huge gamble. Prosecutors can question him about not only his wife and son's death, but also the roughly 100 other charges he faces, from stealing from clients to arranging his own shooting on the side of a highway. But over 5 weeks of trial, questions have emerged only Murdaugh can answer.
A young child passes from bird flu in Cambodia.
An injured volleyball player had to get both her legs amputated.
And as we continue the warmest day of 2023, we're once again expected for cold times coming this weekend. Stay tuned after the break for the 5-day forecast.
Where are we?
We're at Marietta College.
This is where we live at Marietta College.
When kids need medical care, they face life-changing experiences. They miss out on the things that make being a kid fun. Starlight Children's Foundation programs entertain and inspire hospitalized kids. Learn more at starlight.org.
Marietta, a place some people call home.
A place of athletes.
A place of discovery.
A place for the future.
Your plan.
Your future.
Go Pios.
Arizona's former Attorney General suppressed findings by his investigators, who concluded that there was no basis for allegations that the 2020 election was marred by widespread fraud. That's according to documents released Wednesday by his successor. Democrat Chris May's Republican Attorney General Mark Brnovich never released a March 2022 summary of investigative findings, which ruled out most of the fraud claims spread by allies and supporters of former President Donald Trump. Yet a month later, he released an interim report that claimed his investigation revealed serious vulnerabilities that must be addressed and raises questions about the 2020 election in Arizona. Brnovich also did not release a September memo that systematically refuted a bevy of election conspiracies.
An 11-year-old girl in Cambodia has died from bird flu in the country's first known human H5N1 infection since 2014. Bird flu normally spreads in poultry, and most of the 870 human cases worldwide in the past few decades have involved direct contact with infected poultry. However, concerns have arisen recently about infections in a variety of mammals and the possibility the virus could evolve to spread more easily between people. Cambodia's health ministry said the girl from a rural village felt sick last week and was diagnosed shortly before she died Wednesday. Health officials are taking samples from birds in the area and telling people to avoid contact with sick or dead poultry.
The Missouri Attorney General is calling for the resignation of a St. Louis prosecutor after a motorist who repeatedly violated his bond conditions crashed and injured a teenage volleyball player who had to have both of her legs amputated. The case renewed criticism of St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. Critics said the driver should have been behind bars for what authorities said were more than 50 bond violations. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey says Gardner has until noon Thursday to step down or his office will begin removal proceedings. Police say the 16-year-old volleyball player from Tennessee was pinned Saturday between two cars after a speeding car driven by 21-year-old Daniel Riley failed to yield at an intersection. Harry Potter movie fans, we have something for you to wonder about. A certain wizarding world could have looked very different on screen.
Eric Thurman has the scoop with today's Hollywood Minute.
Hi everyone, Steve Splinger has kicked off two major films franchise, Indiana Jones. Jurassic Park, but despite the loving the story, he turned down a third-party Harry Potter. Springer said he and his wife Kate Capshaw were just starting a family when he got offered, which would have mentioned spending months filming in London, so he declined. How to Train a Dragon is going live action. Ding Bing Bong, the filmmaker behind the original is writing, directing, and producing the live action version due in theaters in March 2025. And all three Jurassic movies were nominated for the Best Animated Film Oscars. Jonathan Majors looks even more dangerous in the final theater for Creed 3. He plays an ex-con with nothing to lose and a score to settle with Michael B. Jordan, Adonis Creed. Tessa Thompson also starts Creed 3, opening in theaters March 3rd. If you want to see more Majors of the powerful villain before the Creed 3 arrives, he also is mentioning as a Connor in Ant-Man, which opens last week. That's it for today in your Hollywood. I'm Eric. Back to the desk to you guys.
Thanks, Eric. Now we're going to head to Landon Santini for a look at our extended forecast.
How does it look out there, Landon?
Well, as I've said before, it's the hottest day of the year for us in the Mid-Ohio Valley, at the very least in the year of 2023, at least until the summer months. Breaks that record, no doubt, in the next several months. As you can see, up in the northern area of the country, right in the Great Lakes area and at the southern Canadian border, you can see that they're dealing with lots of snow and icy temperatures. And as the winds will be carrying those temperatures more towards us over the next couple days from in the southwesterly direction, our warm day that we're experiencing today will quickly dissipate as we begin the weekend tomorrow. So enjoy it's not scorching hot, but it's not super cold either, so enjoy those temperatures while you can. As we go on into the 5-day forecast to talk about how drastically those temperatures are going to drop as our weekend begins, we see on Friday we're going to be dropping down to an expected high of 45 with mostly sunny conditions. So going on into Saturday, we'll be experiencing a slight, not very much, but a slight increase with mostly cloud conditions and an expected high of 51. Continuing on for the churchgoers into Sunday, the temperatures will continue increasing slightly with a high of 56, mostly cloudy conditions. Then as we begin the next work week on Monday, the rain will be returning in time for another drastic temperature increase with an expected high of 62. And that same rain is going to, once again, give us another spike downwards as the rain continues on into Tuesday with an expected high of 51. So, like I said, enjoy the warmth of today while you can, because if the last few weeks and this week are any indication, everybody's allergies are going to be reacting like crazy. But we'll talk about what we can do as the temperatures cool down as the weekend draws nearer when I come back later on at the end of the program. But until then, back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you for the weather update, Landon. Join us when we come back for an update from the world of sports.
See you in a few.
James Brown and Bill Cowher welcoming you back to the Midnight Snack Run.
This is one tricky obstacle course.
He's reaching, but he pushes it away. He's approaching a plate of iced cookies. He blows right by him.
Oh, the fridge.
Looks like he's headed for the soda. Wait, he jukes left, grabs the water bottle.
Now he's just got to get out of there.
Look what dropped from the sky.
Don't do it, Dennis. That's the way you execute a Midnight Snack Run.
Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer.
Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Marietta College, home of the pioneers. A small town on the Ohio River with a tight-knit community and tons of opportunity. Find a home here at Marietta College. Bring forth a pioneer.
And now we're back with Grant and Zach for a look at sports.
What's happening in the world of sports, guys?
I can give you the rundown now. 1 year after the invasion of Ukraine began, Russians' reintegration into the world of sports threatens to create the biggest rift in the Olympic movement since the Cold War. Russia remains excluded from many international sporting events, and that could soon change. Next year's Paris Olympics are fast approaching, and qualifying events are underway. The International Olympic Committee is working to bring athletes from Russia and ally Belarus back into the competition, but not everyone agrees. If Russian athletes are to return to competition, the sports world must resolve two key issues that became clear in the days after the invasion. How can Russian athletes return without alienating Ukrainians? And what can be done about the Russians that support the war? Ukraine is fiercely opposed to allowing Russians back into the world of sports, and especially next year's Olympics. Ukraine says more than 220 of its athletes have been killed in the war, and hundreds of sports facilities lie in ruin. This points to precedents like the exclusion of Germany and Japan from the 1948 Olympics following World War II.
Dwight Wilson recorded a double-double in Ohio as Ohio beat Northern Illinois 77-68 on Tuesday night for their sixth straight victory. Wilson scored 24 points and grabbed 10 rebounds for the Bobcats. Jalen Hunter added 16 points while shooting 6 for 13 and 2 of 3 from the free throw line. He also had 7 assists. Elmore James finished 4 or 5 from the field to finish with 10 points while adding 6 rebounds. Darwish Hunter led the way for the Huskies with 70 points. Zarek Nutter added 13 points and 6 rebounds for Northern Illinois. In addition, Harvin Ibagarin finished with 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals.
The National Women and Girls in Sports Day was hosted on the campus of Marietta College earlier this month, and senior Marissa Milham has the story for you.
On February 5th, on the campus of Marietta College, the National Women's Girls in Sport Day was hosted. Girls took part in multiple sports, and it was an overall success.
So I was really pleased with how the day turned out with our National Girls and Women in Sports Day. We had a really large group come out, more than we anticipated, which was even better, and everyone was just so excited to be here, which is what the day is all about.
This event allowed for girls K through 8 to just have some fun, learn some new sports, possibly take part in some sports that they already knew about. And overall, it was a very successful day with lots of laughs and smiles shared upon all ages with the athletes and the young girls of the community. It was the first time for the event, and overall, it was a very, very successful day.
We were able to learn new sports. So many of them said their favorite new sport was rowing and lacrosse. And what other opportunity would they get them to do those sports if we're not holding this for them? And I have to take such little credit for this because our female athletes, the other coaches, they stepped up and stepped in and really made this day possible for everyone.
Thanks, Marissa. What a great and cool story.
For now, that's all I have in the world of sports. I'm Zach, and this is Grant. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you for the sports update. Joining us now at the desk is Landon Santini for our last look at the weather.
Well, as we trudge through the warmest day of the year, so far at least, we'll have a bit of a cool down as the weekend comes closer to temperatures ranging from the 40s to upper 50s before the rain comes back and causes another, not quite as drastic as today, but another spike in temperatures as we begin the next workday on Monday. As for this weekend, I don't know. Before it starts getting colder, I for one am going to go outside after the show, maybe play some volleyball, take a load off my legs, and have a little picnic with a bucket of fried chicken. I don't know. Some of that good old paltry always makes me sleepy. That good old serotonin or whatever chemical it is in the chicken always makes you sleepy.
I feel you. Thanks for joining us for our Thursday's edition of WCMO Channel 15 at 12:30 and 6:30. From all of us here at the station, we wish you a great rest of the week.